Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart. She sent and called for the lords, the governments, of the Philistines, saying, "Come up this once, for he hath showed me all his art." Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money into her hand. The government thing. We was talking about the government. She sold Samson out for money, and she made him effeminate. Well, he had the appearance of being effeminate, But there you go. The moral of the story, man.
Can I just ask you something as well? Yeah, you see, like what you were saying. Right? About the house, right here, and that goes against the Bible.
It does. Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be the houses of your fathers.
Yes, and every man is supposed to have their own inheritance. But you have to understand that this society is all based on oppression. That's what it's all based on. So if you're just a regular, everyday John and Jane individual, you're not going to get no kind of, you're not going to get no kind of benefits as the ones on top of it. So it's all about storing power all the way from the top. So because you have three branches of classes in this society. You have the middle class, right? You have the lower class. You have the rich, and then actually four. Then you have the super elite. So all of those people below those class branches, they're pretty much the powers that be. They're benefiting of the labor of all of those people that I spoke about in terms of these different classes. Yeah, and that's what the so-called, that's what Esau's all about. Esau's all about storing power unto themselves. You understand? Because even my own mother used to deal with these kind of characters, right? And she would tell me certain things there and then. But one thing about Esau, as the scripture says that if he have gathered all the grapes, will he have not leave some for the poor? That's what the scripture says. So what that is saying is the scriptures is showing you, based on reality as well, how this man is operating. His thing is just to take everything for himself and give very little back in return.
Right.
That's the spirit of these Edomites,
right.
Especially the ones on the top. That's why you got guys, like I said last week, you got people walking around that are worth trillionaires, whether you want to believe me or not. That's why you got billionaires. So here it is, you got a few billionaires that's walking the face of the earth while everybody else around the world is struggling, living in shanty towns. You understand what I'm saying? You got our people in America living in squalor, down here in England living in squalor, while the select few Edomites are living good. So this society as a whole, and this is why we always teach about the destruction of this kingdom, because it's an unjust kingdom.
Right.
Okay? That's just the thing. And what their thing is just to gather as much wealth as possible, and to keep accumulating wealth is to have, the peasants, as they like to call us, keep working for them. This is why you work every single day. This is why they've psychologically set us up to just keep on working, chasing the paycheck.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about when I first came in. We were talking about
that's the spirit. So it's continuing on this kind of talk. So the reason why they want you to keep working so that you can pretty much invest into their economy. Even when you go buy their stuff, they're gaining. You're working for them and you got people buying for them. So either and or you're gaining from them. But when you look at yourself or your nation, you don't figure, even like myself, all of us put together, that's in the truth. You don't figure something out that we don't even have our own corporations of our own. This is why it's harder for Jake, our people, to establish their own business in this society here. Because Esau is all about keeping the power to himself. If Esau were to give us a loan, each Jake a loan, or even let's say reparations, right? Then Jake would pretty much Jake would have their own portion of power and their own level of economics, because that's what builds a nation. That's what makes a nation a nation. Is their economics. If you have no economics, which the word economy means house, if you have no house of your own, what are you gonna do? If you're homeless, right? You're gonna depend on somebody else that already got a house.
Right.
Go on, brother. Read that.
So Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Right, and ultimately, as we talk about this is what Moses was prophesying about, which Moses was a so-called black man from the tribe of Levi.
That's right.
You understand? So he was prophesying that because of what we did wrong, we're going to be in a dependent situation. You know, we're gonna hear our fathers and our mothers tell us, well, you gotta go get a job, you gotta go do this, you gotta go do that. And it's not their fault that they're telling you that, because they've been programmed to just go be a slave. So they're telling you to go be a slave. You understand? And that's the reality of the matter. The reality of the matter is the Israelites, the so-called black man, the so-called Latino Native American man, they're in slavery right now. You know what the proof of that is? When you look at the lower class sect, the working class sect, who fills up that sect? How people fill up that sect, man? When they chasing the check, they working paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
All right, so let's read on.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and nakedness.
Right. So when you really check it out, you got people that's don't even have to chase a paycheck. Yeah. They got jobs to where they can sit and cool and chill. Go for go on holidays every once in a while. But Jake has to keep working. He's working. Jake is working to survive. Jake is not working to cool in the cut, lay back and relax. No. Jake is simply working to survive. Like those Benjamites in Jamaica, right? Like one guy made a song, forgot the guy's name, but he made a song called Hand to Mouth. What the song means is that pretty much you're only working to eat. All right, you're working to put food in your mouth. That's all you're working for. Hand to mouth. That's the situation that Jake is in. Okay, but does that mean that because we're under these curses, that's going to last forever? No. There's going to be a changing of worlds. What's going to happen is the people that got us in this condition in the first place, they're going to suffer the consequences, and they're going to be under us. They're going to be in slavery. That's the judgment. Okay, so let's read on.
It says, and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things.
Right, in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. So if you want to go start a business, you got to go to their banks. All right, if you want to go get a job, you got to go to them. If you want to go put clothes on your back, you got to go to them. Everywhere you turn, you want to buy a car, you got to go to them. You got to go to their car companies. Who's running these car companies? Edomites are. All right, you want to get on that bus, right? Who owns the transportation of these buses? Esau owns that shit.
Right.
Get on the train, Esau runs that. Virgin train, Esau runs that.
Yeah.
Everything you see, Esau's running it, man. The school systems, Esau's running that. So what does Jake have? Nothing. So let's read that again.
Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee,
Right.
in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness.
Yeah. And in thirst and in nakedness, man. So we're in a naked, vulnerable situation. That's why you got Jakes out there that feel like they gotta be on terms with the system. Because Jake knows, they may not know consciously, but subconsciously they know who's got the real power and who they have to depend on when it's all said and done. Because if you don't do any kind of work, or you don't dance to the tune of Esau, you're gonna be all out. You really gonna be homeless now. Okay, and that's the hardcore reality we're living in. You got Jake over there setting up carnivals and getting into some damn clubs, partying and dancing.
Yeah.
And if Jake really knew the condition that they was in, they wouldn't be doing no dancing. They would do the contrary. Look down the place, man.
If we was in our right mind.
Jake would, there'll be riots overnight. If Jake was to realize what situation that we're in, there'll be riots overnight.
Yeah, we're not in our right minds.
And you know, Jake talk about slavery sometimes, as we do too.
Yeah.
He talk about slavery. So if Jake was in a right mind and they was to put two and two together, man, there'll be all kind of drama and ruckus being brought out here. Real talk, man. So yeah, read on, brother. About Rashad.
It says,
And it's not just I'm not just talking about Jake that look like the dark. I'm not just talking about Jake that look like the dark skin, the actual Israelites, but I'm also talking about even the Irish too.
Yeah, they're warriors.
And the Scots, they're in a destitute situation. They gotta depend on their enemies for the one of all things too. Go on, bro.
it says, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Like I went into last week. What did we speak about last week? We was talking about the same similar subject matter. And what I was saying was it's the same people that suffered slavery back in the 14, 15, 16, 1700s are suffering right now. And the ones that have benefited, the ones that enslaved our people and got all the benefits, they're living in castles right now. Like that thing you showed me, brother, that video you showed me where the woman had the same last name as the slave master, or the guy that his ancestors went back to the slave master. But the only difference was that the Israelite woman that was on there, she didn't have shit. The other guy, he was sitting in the damn castle. Huh? Yeah, it was a massive ass castle, man. Living good, plush, clean. Yeah. So when people say, oh, you know, we all the same, that's all BS, man. They just trying to cloud you from reality. You ain't all the same. All right? Jake's condition cannot be compared to Esau's condition. Yeah, and the word condition means state. If you look at the condition of Esau, Esau's at a higher state. Wow. Jake is at a lower state. So we're not equal. All right? Society told our people that so that we can be docile and clouded in the mind to reality. That's why that was told. Because if everybody knew their estate, there'll be riots overnight. Trust me. Trust me when I say that. Go on, bro. And these devils, man, out here, they'll be in great fear. The reason why these Edomites are comfortable because they know Jake is unaware of what's going on. All right, that's why they use rap music to dumb down our people, so that our people can remain in this docile, stupid state of mind, while the people that enslaved your ancestors are making money off of it. Okay, why you hip hopping and popping and rapping and all this nonsense? Walking like you a gangster, you a G. You got these guys, you got the real gangsters that's literally oppressing your ass. All right, while you got Jake killing themselves, you got Esau out there trying to keep his society going and enslaving your ass. Go on, brother, read that.
So it's Deuteronomy 28 and 16. Cursed thou shalt be in the city, and cursed thou shalt be in the field.
Okay. All right. You're going, bro.
So, again, Deuteronomy 28 and 16.
You're going, bro.
Deuteronomy 28 and 16. Cursed thou shalt be in the city, and cursed thou shalt be in the field.
Right, it says, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. So what is the field talking about metaphorically? Is it actually talking about a field? No, this is talking about worldwide, because you don't just got Jake in England suffering, but you got our people suffering in America and also in Brazil, also in what is it, man? You got our people suffering in France, being oppressed, even in their own country. You got brothers in West Africa that are being oppressed by the French, by the English. So Jake is all around being oppressed. And then you got the Irish, they're being oppressed to a certain degree too. Okay? And really, ultimately, the reason why we're in this situation is because we, as I'm going to always keep on saying, right, is because we disobeyed the laws of the Heavenly Father. And if you were to go back to what we did back then, you would have to come to the conclusion, if you got some sense, that to a certain degree, this happened for a reason. Okay, go on, bro.
So Matthew 13 and 37, and it says, he answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man.
Right.
The field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, right, but the tares are the children of the wicked.
And that shows you what I was saying about the field. The field was really referring to the whole entire earth. You know, so wherever our people are at, they're going to be under that same curse until the Messiah returns, because you got a lot of people in the Christianity, which I'm going to get into in a minute, right? You got a lot of people. A lot of our people in Christianity that believe that when the Messiah returns, because we teach what we teach something contrary to what the Christians teach. What we teach is that the only people that's going to be saved is the nation of Israel, according to the Bible. That's what we teach. But the Christians, they teach that everybody can be saved. Every nation under the sun can be saved. That's not going to be the case, because the people that needs to be saved are the people that's at the bottom. Makes all the sense of the world. All of these other nations, they're doing good. They don't need to be saved, and the Most High has already chosen them to begin with. The Most High hasn't chosen them to begin with. The Most High has chosen us to be His people. That's why He's punishing us for the things that we've done. All right, go on.
So it says, verse 17, cursed shalt thou be, Slacker, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Yeah, but I want you to hold close, brother. The water. You're going.
So verse 17, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be thy the fruit of thy body.
Right, it says, cursed shall be thy basket of thy store. What is that talking about? Your businesses. You establish a business, but then it only but goes for so long, and then guess what? You got to go back to Esau's banks to keep the business going, and it's up to him for you to keep your business going and give you them loans. Okay, go on.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land.
And that's why after generation, our people have been always caught up into this thug culture. All right, and not just only that, but also because of the single parent of household living. All right, and the things that was done to us in slavery as well. Which are part of the curses is what is it? Having post-traumatic slave syndrome. Yeah. So your seed would be under the curses. Whatever those curses that we see from time to time, we still go around our people. Go on.
The increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out.
Right. So when you come into the earth, it's going to be hard. You're going to have a hard childhood, and then when you die, you're going to have a hard life. And all of us can say from birth, we had it hard from birth. Right, most of us can say that, and we got it hard. We living hard right now. You know what I mean? But that's the curse of the nation of Israel.
That's why a lot of us, a lot of our parents, when they die, they really ain't got anything to leave you behind.
Exactly.
Other nations, when they leave back a fortune, a house, cars, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, for check, when it's mostly you check what they had in bank accounts when it's overdrafts and debts and all, you know.
Yep.
Get bills passed down to you.
Get bills passed down to you, man.
Yep.
Instead of a fortune. Man.
Exactly. So, and that's another thing, like what the brother said. When we're born on this earth, we don't have no inheritance. No Jake can really come and say that they were born with inheritance. You know, and that's a curse in itself, because if you're coming into this earth, you're supposed to have something to fall back on. Not just born into nothing. You understand? But that's the state of Israel, the state of the real Jews. I'm not talking about those people in Israeli land. I'm not talking about them, because they know Jews. They don't even fit the curses. We're fitting more so the curses than anything else. So we're those people that Moses spoke to. Go on. Those Palestinians over there, them so-called Jews, they're not the people of the Heavenly Father. All right, they're just two nations fighting over our land. That's all they're doing.
That's right.
Go on, bro.
Verse 20. The Lord shall send up these curses, shall send up 3 curses, vexation and rebuke, in all that thou settest thine hand unto, for to do, until thou be destroyed.
Until thou be destroyed. And that's what happened to the nation of Israel, the real Jews, which we are, those people. All right, which the banking elite very well realize this. They know the people of the face of the earth. Okay? And the thing about these bankers, this is why they set up these. Now I'm going to get into something else now. Somebody give me Isaiah chapter 2. Verse, I believe it's Isaiah chapter 2, verse. No, not that. Isaiah 2, verse 17. And then read all the way down to 18.
This is Isaiah 2 and 17. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low.
Right, says the loftiness of men shall be made low. And the men that are lofty are the ones that's sitting on high. I'm talking about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, those kind of guys. All right, what is it? The DuPonts, the Gettys, the Bushes. They're sitting high on their horse, and they proud at the same time. But the Lord said He was going to bring them down, ultimately because of what they did to our people, and to also show and glorify His name. Go on, brother.
So it says, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day.
Right, and the Lord, like I said, in that day the Lord will be exalted. You see, so when the Lord gets exalted, then the whole rest of the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect, they're going to be exalted. Go on, bro.
So verse 18, and the idols He shall utterly abolish.
Right, and the idols He shall utterly abolish. Like, for example, you got a lot of celebrities. Like, I did a sit down on this, right, where you got a lot of guys that went to the Kanye West church gathering.
Yeah.
And the reason why they went down there is because they didn't, the average people, they don't really believe in Christianity. They don't truly believe it. All right, they just say they believe it, but they don't really believe it. They don't really follow it, you know? But They went down there simply because Kanye was there.
Yeah.
Okay? Because those same people that went to that church, they're the same people standing out in the street corner, doing little to nothing all day, right? And they're just being wicked as all hell. That's what they're doing. The same people that's going to these damn clubs, committing adultery, doing all kind of nonsense. So they simply went to that church to go see Kanye West. All right? And the Bible speaks about how you're not supposed to worship any idols rather than the Most High. That's the first commandment. Go on, bro.
So, verse 19. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth.
Yeah.
For the fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth.
Right. When he arises to shake terribly the earth. Which that's going to happen when Yahweh Shah returns. When Yahweh Shah makes a second return, he's going to shake the heavens. He's going to pretty much declare his right and his authority on the earth. Which he created the earth. Right? And the other powers that be created the earth along with him. So they're going to be receiving that glory when the Messiah returns. Okay? Because right now, the reason why Esau's in power, because the Most High put him in power, raised him up so high to the point so he could smack him down and show his glory and show who's really boss. Yeah. Okay? That's what this whole thing is about. Go on, bro.
Verse 20. In that day, a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold,
Right.
which they made each one for himself to worship.
Right, and you still got people that worship statues like Buddha and Krishna and all these various gods, which really the gods of the nations that was into all of that. But you still got people that worship statues and even people that worship celebrities. Okay, there's a syndrome that I found out. It's called celebrity syndrome. That's why they're known as also idols. Okay, because people worship these idols. Now, let's say for example, Brad Pitt was in one of the camps, right? Man, everybody would stop what they're doing completely and watch what we're saying because he's simply in the camp. You see what I'm saying? Like, so that's how you know that the people, their mind and heart is all geared towards the things of this world, the idols of this world. So when the Messiah returns now, he's going to smack all that up. This is why the society is going to be destroyed. And while the society is being destroyed, he's going to get the glory.
That's right.
All right. All of that reverence and that worship is going to go to him. Go on, bro.
Well,
I said Brad Pitt, right? Because I believe Brad Pitt's a Jake, man. Go on, bro.
To the moles and to the bats, to go into the clefts of the rock and into the tops of the ragged rocks, for fear of the Lord, for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth.
Yeah, so what that's talking about, what that's talking about is when all hell breaks loose, when the Lord brings hell to this earth, everybody's going to be looking for some kind of covering. All right, and read that again, because there's another thing that I want to speak on as well.
Isaiah 2:21, to go into the
Yeah, where you left off. Okay.
to go into the clefts of the rock and into the tops of the ragged rocks, for the fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth.
Right, and no, read up a verse.
Verse 20, in that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, when they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats, to go into the clefts of the rock and into the tops of the ragged rocks.
Read from verse 5, where it says the rocks shall cover them, they shall see the rocks. I think it's verse 5. I'll tell you what, read the whole thing again.
This is Isaiah 2:12. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low, and upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan.
Yeah, he was talking about the Assyrians, because the Assyrians, they were in a high estate, but we can apply this to today as well. Go on.
And upon the high mountains, and upon the hills that are lifted up, and upon every high tower.
Upon the hills that are lifted up. What are the hills talking about? The hills are a metaphor to the people, or the other nations. Go on.
And upon the high mountains, and upon the hills that are lifted up.
Right. In other words, the mountains is referring to the governments around the world. So all of these other nations are lifted up, and now they have that pride. They have that arrogancy. Go on.
and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall, and upon the ships of Tarshish, and upon the pleasant pictures. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low. And the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day.
Right, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. So when the Lord brings hell to this earth, as he's going to do so, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to try and find some comfort. And you got people, by the way, that have actually dug underneath the earth and created what you call underground bunkers. Because they know ultimately the Lord is going to come back, and on top of that, to add the icing on the cake, what you're going to have is you're going to have a nuclear war. And they want to escape that, and they will escape that. There's prophecy that they will escape that, because we have the so that ultimately we can have our slaves. Because we're going to have slaves. That's the inheritance of being an Israelite. All right, and the slaves are going to be the Edomites, beginning with the top banking families.
Right.
They're going to be the first slaves on the earth. And it's funny because they're the first in position, and everybody else, I'm not going to say everybody, but you're going to have a large amount of people that's going to die, but they're going to remain under the bunkers just to be so they can be enslaved. So let's get that precept. Yeah, that's the one I wanted. Yeah, read that. Yeah. Isaiah 2 and 10. Yes, Isaiah 2 and 10.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
There's Isaiah 2 and 10.
If you got a precept, brother, just bring it out. Go on.
Enter into the rock and hide thee in the dust.
Right. Go into what?
Enter into the rock
Enter into the rock. Go on.
and hide thee into the dust.
In other words, let's hide beneath the ground. So you have the power, you have certain elite powers that have dug underneath the earth so that they can survive the nuclear holocaust. Prophecy. So everything that the prophet spoke about, they were going to do it in these days and times. And I'm going to say again, when people say, oh, the Bible is just an old book, it's a fairy tale book, they're saying that because they haven't studied anything. They don't even know about the reality they're living in to make that statement. All right? And I could understand because they don't understand the Bible. The only people that can understand the Bible are the modern day prophets today. Now the word prophet means to say before. Now what I've said earlier before about the American destruction, right? We've been talking about that for years. And now we see that happening. Why do you think this World War III is building up? So that can happen. So that America, which is known as Babylon the Great, which is going to be destroyed.
Right.
What you have is you have a lot of so-called white Christians that are dancing to our tune, and they come to the conclusion that we're right when we say America's Babylon. Okay? Go on, bro. Finish that? Go on, bro.
Give me a second.
Because there was a time when people looked at us like we were talking nonsense. Shite. They was looking at us like we was talking shite. But now people are coming to the conclusion that maybe the Hebrew Israelites, the guys with the crazy garments, are speaking the truth now. Okay? Like I remember the apostles going back years ago, they used to speak about the concentration camps and many people laughed and scorned at them. Now people can see that could be the case. So we got to be those prophets. Go on, brother. Which the word prophet means to say something before it already happens.
It's Amos 9 and 2, and it says, and though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them.
Right. Then they shall dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. What does that mean, hell? The word hell goes back to the Hebrew word shaga'ol, which reverts back to the underground of the grave. So they're going to dig into the grave of the earth, set up underground bunkers. This is what Obadiah is prophesying about. You're going to have these Edomites, and this is a prophecy based on Edom, the book of Obadiah, right?
That's Amos.
On Amos. Amos speaks about Esau too. But Amos prophesied about a group of people that's going to dig underground bunkers amongst the Edomites. And ultimately, they're going to come out of those bunkers so that we can enslave them. That's why it says, then shall my hand take them. Read that again, brother.
Amos 9 and 2, and it says, though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them.
Right.
Though they climb up to heaven, then I bring them down.
What does this mean that they climb into heaven? Meaning they will set up their space retreats up in the heavens to also try to escape the judgment to come. And then therefore the Lord is going to take them on that. So the Lord is going to take them while they're underneath the ground, and the Lord is going to take them while they're down, while they're up there. All right? Go on, brother. They got space retreats and stations up there. Go on.
Verse 3, and it says, and though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel,
Take it, man.
I will search and take them out thence.
Right, and it's going to be easy for the Lord to search them out and take them down. It's going to be real easy. It's not going to be a hard thing because Esau don't understand that the Most High has technology way before our time. Okay? That's just the whole thing about that, you know? And Esau himself, he says himself like he is the Most High, but he's going to be destroyed. Would you get me that, brother, about the shot? You know what that is? You know it says Esau exalted himself? Yeah, continue what you got, brother. No, it's in, yeah, you can get that too. And you can also get, I think it's in,
Hold on 1 second, brother.
you know, it says they exalted himself like they're the Most High. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah.
Obadiah as well. Can I finish this precept first before we go?
Yeah, you two brothers here. No? Go on.
2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. But let me finish this. Back to Amos 9 and 3, and it says, and though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command my serpent, and it shall bite them.
Yeah, so either way you slice and dice the cake, they're gonna be taken out. There's no other way to escape. Alright, you could try to go up into the heavens, you could try to go underneath the earth, or try to go beneath the oceans. The Lord is gonna catch you right there. Okay, it doesn't really make a difference, man. But what Esau does, because see what Esau's gonna find out, they're gonna find out that the Most High rules over everything. He's omnipotent. That's what you're gonna find out. Go on, man.
So Revelation 6 and 15, and it says, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bond man, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
That's what they're gonna do. Every man is gonna hide themselves in the dens of the mountains. You're gonna have certain people that's gonna pretty much try to find a spot to live in the mountain. You got people doing that right now.
The ones that can afford, the elite, they're the ones that can afford to set up all these plans. Basically, if there's a World War III breaks out, they've already got escape pods and plans, and you know how to hide. They can just blast off in space. You know, they go mountain retreats. They go bunkers. They can go and hide on. Okay, they go all kinds of. They know the neutral places which are not going to be touched by war, and they've got houses there where they can go and hide. You know, so they've got all the neutral places where they can go and hide in case all hell breaks loose, man.
And they're supposed to have it in London as well. They're supposed to have an underground system that goes straight out of London.
I wouldn't be surprised, like they show you that in movies, right? Every time like the White House will have somewhere where they can go under and then blast off. The palace, you know, Anyway, it goes on verse Revelation 6 and 16 again, and it says, and say to the mountains and the rocks, for on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb.
So you know what that means, it tells you right there, hide our faces from the wrath of the Lamb. Because, and this is why Esau is setting up this is why they're gathering their weapons of war for space. You can read countless of articles on Donald Trump how he speaks about space wars, because Esau knows damn well he's a wicked group of people, and they know based on what they've done they're gonna have to pay. So what they want to do is they want to prevent that from happening. That's what they think in their mind. Here it is, the Creator made them, but not realizing that the Lord